What's up, guys? Welcome back to the RGVSports Show, Week 3 recap edition. Week 3 in the books. Got some good football going on this past weekend, Thursday, Friday, even here on Saturday with Wesco East taking on Brownsville Hannah. But we got to start with the first things first. Coming with number 1, number 2, the game of the week, Edinburgh Vela versus McCown Memorial. Andrew McCullough, you were there. What were your thoughts?
So this was a wonky game for more than a few reasons. If you guys were following along last night, there were 3 power outages last night in Edinburgh. First one coming at halftime, second one the tail end of the third quarter, and the third one 2 minutes into the start of the fourth. Really kind of threw a monkey wrench into this one and a little bit overshadowed the matchup we had on tap. The game of all games of the week. In total, about an hour worth of delays, kind of interrupted a few drives each way. Before the second power outage, McGowan Memorial just recovered a fumble deep in Vela's territory, didn't score after the power came back on. Then the third delay happened after a 63-yard pass on Vela's behalf, and they didn't score after the power came back on. So kind of equally inconvenient for both sides, but aside from that, this one really lived up to the billing. Memorial coming out on top, 33-22, handing Vela their first loss to a Valley school since November 2016.
Crazy.
Last time the SaberCats lost, it was to Wesco East by 3 points in a bi-district playoff game. So feels like it's been a long time since those two teams couldn't possibly meet in the playoffs anymore, or first round anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But Memorial really ran all over Vela. Wasn't really close in that respect. 42 carries for 349 yards as a team for the Mustangs. Found the end zone on the ground 4 times, led by Spades, who had 222 yards and a pair of touchdowns on just 19 carries. That's his 3rd game this season, eclipsing the 200-yard mark, and it's his 11th in a row going over 100. He's got to be an early candidate for Player of the Year here in the Valley. Really doesn't seem like there's anyone or anything that can really slow him down.
No, that SaberCat defense was able to bottle them up last year, hold them under 100 yards, but not this time around.
That's right, and I think it's mostly due to just getting bit by big plays. Spates' 2 touchdown runs, one was from 32, the other was from 84 yards out. It seemed like, especially as this one wore on later in the game, they kind of just ran out of juice in keeping up with him in the open field. And, that's where Spates really kills you when he gets out in space, and you got to catch up to him because usually that doesn't happen. But aside from that, A.J. Sotelo had a pretty good game for the SaberCats. They just got started a little late, didn't find the end zone until the second quarter, didn't have a passing touchdown until the second half. But he connected for 2 passing touchdowns on the day. In the end, their comeback bid fell out a little bit short. After the final power outage, they had a turnover on downs in the red zone, and then the next possession they had a receiver fumble on the 5-yard line. Kind of unfortunate timing, but at the same time, you got to give it up for the Mustangs defense. They really showed up when it counted. They held Vela to under 100 yards on the ground on almost 30 carries. Forced a pair of key turnovers that either took scores away from Vela or gave touchdowns to Memorial, and they sacked him 3 times. It really kind of seemed like they missed that offensive line depth, especially at the tackle spots.
Mm-hmm.
Sotelo kind of was pigeonholed into the pocket a lot of the night, and although it didn't really necessarily affect him in terms of sacks on every play, you could tell the pressure was there, forced some incompletions. He was getting hit when he threw a lot, and on at least one occasion he threw a pick on the first play of the drive, which the Mustangs used to score a touchdown of their own. And they really had trouble setting up the outside run. But at the same time, I don't know that you should really read into this a whole lot on the Vela side. They lost to a good team, arguably the best team in the Valley going right now, so that's nothing to be ashamed of. But on the Memorial side, you got to feel really good about going undefeated with the district slate they've played, or non-district slate they've played, excuse me. They beat off Brownsville Hannah in a tough Week 1 matchup, destroyed Sherryland in Week 2, and now they get this upset win on the road. you got to feel pretty good about your chances if you're the Mustangs heading into district play now. They'll have a week off before they head to Mission for what's sure to be another great one.
Awesome. Can't wait for that one. Now, you broke down some numbers for us, but some numbers that I want to hear from you. Power rank those power outages for us. How exciting were they? How much did they throw you off your game? And literally put the entire stadium in the dark.
So first one happened during the halftime show, actually. So me and some other people were kind of the opinion, oh, this is just part of the act. And then the teams came back out for the second half, and you couldn't see most of the field, and that's when people started to really panic and go, what's going on here? The second time it happened, it was kind of a, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me type deal. Like, is someone late on a bill here, or what's going on? Mm-hmm. And then the third time, you're like, well, of course this would happen again. What's going to happen next? It was kind of a night where you thought just anything weird that would happen could happen. That's kind of how it shook out down the stretch.
Friday the 13th, there was a full moon and some crazy things happening there in Edinburgh at Richard R. Flores Stadium.
Absolutely.
And let's take it to another big game, another top 10 matchup that we had this past week. Raul Garcia, you were at Westlake High and PSG North this past week, featuring the Raiders and the Panthers. How did that matchup shake out, and what were some of your impressions from that game?
That was a great game, guys. It was exciting on both sides of the field, and it proved to be a real big defensive game at first, but you got to give it up to the PSJA Raiders because they came in hard and they scored fast. So that was it was a very impressive drive, and just three drives. Like Isaac Gonzalez took off for a big gain, I think close to 30 yards, and incoming quarterback Trey Elizondo connected with Barbarena for another 30 or more plus games, which positioned PSJA real quick into the red zone for Gonzalez just to finish it off with a big punch into the touchdown to go 7-0 at Bobby Lackey Stadium. Just kind of silenced the stadium because there had to be more than 500 people on the West Coast side. I don't know. There was very limited people that showed up for PSJA. Big game, but the very interesting thing was Isaac Rangel didn't start, didn't take a snap, was on the sidelines all game watching his team, stay in the game. And early on, they held a 7-point lead going into halftime. It was exciting because Jacob Cavazos struggled to get his offensive arm going. He was connecting. He connected for more than 100 yards on 8 completions with his receiving, and he was actually running out of the pocket for some big gains. But they managed to get into the red zone twice. They picked Elizondo in PSJA territory early in the first quarter, but they weren't able to convert. On fourth down, they opted to go for the score. I talked to Coach Stroman because he gambled twice in the first half, which could have brought the game, within one. But they ended up trailing that whole game until late in the third quarter when Peyton, their power running back, actually just turned it up and ended up at the game with 4 touchdowns. Actually, let's check out those highlights. You guys are gonna enjoy this segment.
Panthers at home at Texas National Bank Field at Bobby Lackey Stadium, taking on the PSJA North Raiders. And remembering 9/11, it was this week 18 years ago. The Raiders come to play here with that high-powered offense and a running back who's one of the best in the Rio Grande Valley. Isaac Gonzalez, a sophomore, scores a touchdown on the opening drive. The defense came to play for the West Coast Panthers. That's Alexis Munoz gets his hands up and the interceptions. Second quarter now, and Rodney Garza in at quarterback for the Panthers. He's looking to throw deep, and he finds Jacob Cavazos keeps his feet in bounds, and the Panthers are in business. But the drive stalls as the offense struggles early for Westlaco. Next possession, Garza in at quarterback once again, looking to go deep. and Rolando Perones fights for that one and makes the catch. Weslaco in business. Panthers trying to punch it in. They had the ball 3 times in the red zone in the first half, but they can't convert, and it's the Raiders leading 7-0 at the half. The Panthers, they get the ball first. In the second half, Perones with the catch. Cavazos then surveying the field, tucks and runs, has the ball inside Raider territory. Then Peyton Knab breaks a tackle, keeps his feet moving, so much power and speed, and he scores a touchdown. 7-7. After that 40-yard jaunt by Knab, we're all tied. Later, in the third quarter, they go back to the running game, and it's Peyton Knab once again. 15 yards for the big man. Cavazos, he's running here. A run all the way for him. Big time yardage inside the 30-yard line. Then give it to Knab. Great offensive line work here as Knab is untouched through all that to the end zone. Panthers on top, 14-7. We go to the fourth quarter now, and Weslaco's on the move once again. Cavazos looking, and he finds Jay Granados off of the tip. Then Cavazos looking to pass, rolling out to his right. That's Jesse Hernandez with the catch. And that would lead to a 32-yard field goal. And it's good for Ramiro Galvez. The Panthers in command here, 17-7. North would be on the move here, trying to mount a comeback. But the Panthers defense played spectacular tonight. Here they are on fourth down, the Raiders, and they can't convert. So Weslaco now has the ball with about 7 minutes remaining in the game, and it's ball control. Give it to Knab. Peyton runs it there. Then Jesse Hernandez, quick on his feet to the 20-yard line. Hernandez with the ball once again. Still motoring, still behind that offensive line. And Hernandez inside the 15-yard line. One more time, Jesse Hernandez takes a licking, keeps on going inside the 5-yard line there. Then it's Peyton Knab time. 3 touchdowns for the senior running back. And Christian Garces with the extra point. And that had the Panthers all fired up in this game. They play spectacular in all phases of the game. A big win for the Weslaco Panthers, taking it to the PSJA North Raiders. A final score of 24-7.
And those were the Wesco ISD School District's broadcast of highlights from the game last night. We want to thank them for allowing us to bring those to you. But really, what did you think about that game, Andy?
I mean, kind of surprising on my end to see PSJ North struggle to find the end zone. How much do you think they missed Ron Hill in this one?
I think they missed his leadership a lot. But talking to Trey Elizondo, that guy was just happy to, come out there with his team and help lead the team as much as well as he could. And he told me, they just gotta go back to work, try and work at their chemistry, and to gel together. But Seven Sanchez at the end of the game said he was going to take this loss to heart, and they're getting ready. They're going to be ready when they come back in 2 weeks to take on Lincoln Juarez.
Right on. Yeah,
Juarez Lincoln.
They'll have a bye week to get right and get that chemistry off and going. Brian, you were at a great game this week too. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you saw?
Absolutely. Friday night, I caught Mission High visiting the Sharyland Pioneer Diamondbacks at Richard Thompson Stadium in Mission, and Mission High Eagles were the number 4 ranked team in this past week's RGVSports.com top 10 poll. But on Friday night, they ran into a buzzsaw that was the Sharyland Pioneer Diamondbacks. Mission High had been outscoring opponents 92-8 over their first 2 games. Well, the Diamondbacks dropped 35 on them in the first half. Wow. So quarterback Eddie Lee Marburger was on fire, finished with 6 touchdown passes, over 400 yards passing, nearly 100 yards rushing, and another rushing touchdown on the ground. He had 6 touchdowns in game 1, 6 touchdowns in game 2, 7 last night. He's up to 19 touchdowns on the year, 2 on the ground, 17 through the air. And this Pioneer offense, they're just rolling on all cylinders right now. I don't know if there's any defense here in the Rio Grande Valley that can stop them. They have to stop themselves. That's the only way I see anybody slowing this Pioneer offense down. And just want to give a shout out to offensive coordinator Eddie Galindo, who, I mean, this looks like a college offense that you see on Saturdays, or that you see in those primetime games, whether it be on Thursday night. It looks like a legit college offense. They got weapons all over the field. They go 4 wide, empty backfields. They mix it up. They spread the ball around. Eddie Lee Marburg gets the ball out of his hands fast. He finished 30 for 42 last night, just 12 incompletions in that aerial attack of the Diamondbacks. And it was a really impressive performance from that Pioneer offense. But let's give some love to that Pioneer defense for they were able to bottle up that backfield of Tito Moronta and Andrew Maldonado for Mission High, hold them both to under 65 yards rushing apiece. And it was just a really impressive effort. They were flying to the ball, making plays defensively, and really backing up that Mission style, that Mission offense. We all know they have a pro style offense. They go under center. They have a 2-back. They're not afraid to get in the I formation, and they have all the looks of a pro style offense. But on last night, Pioneer put it on them and had them struggling and had them playing catch-up mode from the get-go. And it's when you're playing catch-up mode against a tough offense like Pioneer that's going to put up points at will. They had, I believe, it was 2 scoring drives in the first half that took under 50 seconds. So Pioneer just flying down the field, getting into the end zone, and it was just obviously the Mission High's worst performance this year, but they're going to be hungry. They got a bye week to let this one settle, and then they're going to get over it, and then, like you said, it's right into district play, and going to be interesting to see how the Eagles rebound off of this one.
Yeah, they'll have to get it right in a hurry before they welcome in a talented McAllen Memorial team to kick off that District 36A slate.
Absolutely, another potential top 10 matchup there in Week 5. And just for a second, we here at RGV Sports, we'd like to send our thoughts and prayers to Sharyland Pioneer head coach Tom Lee, who was forced to leave the game during the game due to health concerns. This morning, he caught up with his team. He's okay. Thankfully, everything's fine. But yeah, he couldn't miss some time away from his team. Health is the number 1 priority, and it's good to see Coach Tom Lee at least doing better than he was last night. And we wish him all the best moving forward over at Sharyland Pioneer and for the entire Diamondback family. But yeah, congratulations to the Diamondbacks. Really big win for them. They improved to 2-1 on the year. Mission drops their first game to fall to 2-1. But man, that Pioneer offense, I was just so impressed with their ability. I mean, in Week 1, I saw this Mission High defense shut down the Mission Veterans spread attack, which is similar to Sharyland Pioneers. But Sharyland Pioneer, I mean, they shredded that defense. They lit them up. Tristan Castillo had over 140 yards receiving, another rushing touchdown on the ground, 6 touchdown passes for Marburger to 5 different receivers. Just a really good night for the Diamondbacks, and they're looking really good. And next week they got a matchup against Brownsville Rivera, a team who let's give a shout out to the Raiders, who just snapped a 21-game losing streak with a 32-0 win over Valley View. So next week in Week 4, Rivera, they got another challenge in Sharyland Pioneer coming into next week. And another game there in District 16 5A D1, that 10-team district. They're already in their 2nd week of district play here in Week 3. And we saw a matchup between Mission Veterans, Brownsville Veterans, two of the top offenses in that district, and Mission Veterans handled them. They handled business. They come out with the win. Ricky Reina finishes 25 for 38 with 317 yards, 4 touchdowns, and AJ Gonzalez, the receiver from Mission Veterans, he's just a beast, man. 7 catches, 152 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's got 5 touchdowns over the last 2 games, gone for over 100 in both, and that Mission Veterans offense looking a lot like it was last year. And anytime there's a special teams or defense gets in on the action, you got to give them some love. So Mike Rodriguez comes up with a scoop and score for Mission Veterans, and Mike Gonzalez, senior defensive back, with a really big kickoff return for 6 to lead the Patriots to that win and really give them an inside track. I mean, Mission Veterans is playing their toughest competition in that district so early on. It's not even halfway through the season, and they've already met Brownsville Veterans in week 4. They'll meet Rio Grande City, who is 3-0. So really tough schedule for Mission Veterans, but they made it look easy on Thursday night with that win over Brownsville Veterans. And I'm excited to see that matchup next Friday, Tom Landry Stadium, Rio Grande City at Mission Veterans, which is going to be the Monitors game of the week. Super fired up to see that one. 2 really high-flying offenses put up points. Rio Grande City coming off a 69-19 win over Brownsville Lopez. Quarterback Mario Garza, there was 6 touchdowns, finishes 16 for 19, and for 272 yards. That Rio Grande City offense looks just as good as that Mission Veterans offense. Going to be interesting to see how they what it's going to be like when they get on the field together, and the real question about that game is which defense or which special teams unit will step up to make a couple plays there. So excited for that one coming in week 4. And then Raul, Thursday night you caught some non-district action between the Gruya Gators and the Donna North Chiefs.
Yeah, that was a fun game. Right off the bat, Gruya Gators came out and just took a chomp out of the Donna North defense, which really stunned them very fast. On JT Trujillo came in with the guys, and he quickly connected with Santiago Cifuentes for a 30-yard gain, which put them in position to start working their running game, which really stunned the Donna North Chiefs, because I think talking to the coach, he said they really had a problem tackling, and that really proved to be the nail in the coffin for them in the end, as Gruya went on to win this game 33-12. JT Trujillo just was outstanding leading that offense, and I want to share with you a short highlight film of him in company, and where you'll see him connecting with Jonathan Garza in the end zone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that show, that short clip on the game. What I really wanted to touch on was, after that first opening drive, Donna North did show that they were here to play. They connected with a 65-yard touchdown reception off of Rodrigo Rodriguez. Just picked this one up with his left hand with defense on his back and all around him. And once he picked that up, it was like a Odell Beckham type catch. Randy Moss-ish, or however you want to explain it. This put everybody on their seats at Donna North, and it seemed like, hey, maybe this was the game that they were going to be able to snap their 12-game losing streak. But it wasn't the case. That was one of the big highlights. Brandon Escobar is doing well. He's leading the team. He did connect with one of his receivers, and Aiden Gomez, and just a shout out to them. They're working hard, but we'll see what they have when they take on Valley View next week.
And Gruya gets into the win column. We're now 1-2 on the year.
Yeah.
Donna North falls to 0-3, but like you said, they're desperate for that win, and they're going to give their best every time they take that field. So with that said, we're going to take a quick break with the word from our sponsor, the J. Gonzalez Law Firm, and we'll be right back with a visit from McAllen High volleyball player Lexi Gonzalez, a word from Hidalgo coach, a feature on Hidalgo coach Monty Stumbaugh, and some more Week 3 football talk here on the RGV Sports Show.
Jay Gonzalez, a lawyer with thousands of cases won and millions rewarded in settlements. Over 15 years of experience and recipient of numerous awards. If you've been in an accident, there's only one name to remember, Jay Gonzalez.
This is going to take a while.
Welcome back to the RGV Sports Show. Thank you for that intro, Brian. And we're joined in studio by Mekai outside hitter Lexi Gonzalez and Monitor Sports editor Henry Miller. Who's
Can you
also
tell which one is which?
Hardly.
Hi, that's Henry.
Thanks for joining us today, Lexi. You guys have been playing really well as of late. I think it's 31 in a row for y'all, right?
Yes, 31 and 1, yeah.
Wow. What's been the secret to y'all's success?
I think it's all, like, our team bonding mostly, and communication has really helped us.
Yeah, it seems like just from watching you guys a few times, y'all are really one of the most well-rounded teams in the area. Do you kind of feel that way?
Yes, I do.
And you're one of the best outside hitters in the area. What do you think characteristically like makes a good outside hitter? What are the skills you need to have?
I think a lot of communication, especially because you have to talk with the middle and the right side, of course, yeah. And just always be like outgoing, like always cheer. Like if someone makes an error, then just like keep lifting everyone up.
And then you're really good at blocking too. What's the secret to your success in terms of timing there, going up at the top of the net?
Well, you just have to time the ball, like when the setter releases it, just like go up like where the hitter's like right arm is like aligned with your shoulder, and just go up at the same time. So.
You think you can teach Henry to do that?
Yes, of course.
I'll block you the first chance I get. I'm all over. It's going to be a stuff block. It's not just going to be, I'm going to roof it and I'm just going to go, I'm going to have some kind of dance or something afterwards. I won't do anything calisthenic-wise, though. So, speaking of calisthenics, I see you diving all over the place in the back row. One of the very few tall hitters who stays around, all the way around. Talk a little bit about how soccer and being a goalkeeper has helped you, and what are the relationships between soccer and volleyball?
Well, of course, like I play goalie in soccer, and when I play back row for volleyball, that really helps, like with my diving and timing the ball, and like when it's coming really fast, like I just won't be like afraid to go for it.
And you've had a few of those, even today against McAllen Row.
Yeah.
You had one where you did a roll right after and
Yeah.
just got back. Is that the same thing you would do in soccer right there?
Yeah, I actually roll a little bit in soccer sometimes, actually.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And now, talk a little about the year and how different your team is. You came out on the season, you went to Laredo Alexander, and they took y'all in 15-13 in the fifth set. So you're 2 points away from being 32-0.
Mm-hmm.
How different are y'all now than you were way back then?
Well, Alexander was a really good team and tough team to play, and I think that helped us like learn to like push ourselves more and everything. So I think that helped us for now, because we realized we need to communicate more, we need to like come together more, and so I think that really helped us a lot.
What's it like on this streak? Is it hard to stay up every week? Is there something that Coach Dodge tells you, or Coach Ram, or somebody? Who's the one in charge of electrifying y'all each game?
I think all of our coaches, but especially like Coach Dodge, she really motivates all of us to like push ourselves to be the best. She wants us to be the best, and she's just an amazing coach to have. All 4 years I've been.
I was gonna say all 4 years, right? What are some of the things you've learned from her? Give us a story, a Coach Dodge story.
Coach Dodge story.
There's got to be some wonderful ones.
For like which reason?
Not just anything, just something that motivated you, something where she got on you about something.
Well, before every game, she gives us quotes, and we always think about those quotes and for the game to put that in like our mind and stuff. And I think that is like one of the reasons why we do so well is because she like brings us together more. Like she's the center of all of us, and she just like brings all of us together when she gives us a quote, and she just like gives us like a lecture about everything. So I think she really helps us a lot.
Does she ever give you all a lecture if you're playing poorly?
Yes, sir.
And does she give you quotes there too?
Oh, nope. No, sir.
Give me an example of maybe a quote that she had given y'all that maybe has stuck with you.
Let me think.
Your big head's turning on you.
Yes.
You ever been interviewed by yourself?
No, sir.
Okay, just checking.
Never. I think always believe in ourselves. That's like one of the best quotes I want to say, because like if we don't believe in ourselves, we're not going to do as well. But if like we like have confidence in ourselves, I think that helps us a lot. So
That's
I like
awesome.
that quote the most.
Andrew, you want to talk to her a little bit? And we talked prior to this about the recruiting process, and I know you had some questions for her on that.
That's right. Can you kind of just walk through for our viewers here kind of what your process with recruiting has been like generally from an athlete's perspective?
Yes. So as you know, like I played volleyball and soccer, but for volleyball mostly. So to get myself out there, I played club volleyball and everything, and I played club soccer. But when I was in the volleyball recruiting process, my mom actually would film me every game, and we would take that and make a highlight video. And before every tournament also, like we would email coaches, all coaches that came, because that's what I wanted to do and everything. So that's all we would do. And after like that tournament, we would make a highlight video and send it to all of them saying like, I'm 6 foot, I'm an outside hitter, I can also play like DS and all that. And then one day, like, they just all, like, email back, and it's an amazing experience, actually.
You start hearing those ding,
Yes.
in your email, you're like, oh, this is good.
Yes.
Well, when did that recruiting process kind of start for you?
My sophomore year, but I was also actually my freshman year, I want to say, because I was also doing soccer highlight videos, and I would send those to coaches. And I would also go out to camps, like, go to as many camps as you can. Showcases, anything that will put you out there.
And then how has that kind of evolved from the beginning to sort of where you are now? Is it just more coaches in contact with you?
Yes, like when you get like closer to senior year, more coaches are able to email you back because they're not allowed to. NCAA rules like doesn't allow you to like email like or talk to the players at all. So once you get to like senior year, then like coaches are able to email you and able to like send you anything. So it's awesome.
Oh wow! Has that been a little overwhelming for you, or is it exciting?
It's exciting, I think. Yeah.
Right on. And then you got some news on the recruiting side too, opening things back up a little bit.
Well, wait. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah. I know you verbally committed to Oregon State a while ago, but I know that you've been getting a lot of, interest from other schools too. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So when I found out when I was recruited for Oregon State, and then during soccer season, I started to get a lot of like attention in soccer, of course, and then like I just like fell in love more with soccer, and so I wanted to let like Oregon State know because it wasn't fair like to them, because I don't want just like them to like find out and be like, oh, like you weren't honest with us. I wanted to do the right thing, and when I felt like my heart was set on soccer, I wanted to tell them that and just now like focus on the sport that I want to play.
Absolutely. That's really awesome that you're that transparent on the front end. What has it been like to be recruited for two different sports at the same time? Because that kind of puts you in a unique situation.
Well, it's a lot of like pressure, of course, because with my mom's help, of course, like she's done a lot for me.
We should applaud her.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're all applauding you.
She's helped me like throughout this whole process, and I just like it's like amazing. It was stressful at times going from one sport to the other, but it's like an amazing feeling that like I can like do both sports and play at a high level for both.
Right on. And then just pivoting back to volleyball a little bit, you guys are, I think, one of the top 15 teams in the state right now. Just started district play, like Henry mentioned earlier. You guys feel like you're kind of hitting your stride at the right time?
Yes, we are. We're doing really good practices. We're working so hard. We're pushing each other so much. And now that we have Haiti also back, like that helps us so much. And I'm glad she's back. She just started practicing from her ankle, I think on Tuesday.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so she's just been practicing for like 4 days. So, and she's back and she's playing amazing, and that's helped us so much. And just like our whole team being back united, that helps.
Yeah, it seems like y'all are really gelling as a group, especially with the streak y'all are on. That's pretty incredible.
Yes.
Henry, I forget to say anything?
Probably, but I can always fill those things in. I'm good at that. I just can't get over this thing. Like that's how big my head normally is. And someone says something good about me, it just even gets bigger. So, talk a little about, not only does Coach Dodge have a responsibility to win, but also to develop the program, to continue developing the program. I've noticed, look, when they need someone to put a ball down, you know where it's going. We all know where it's going, right? But I've noticed a lot more sets going to some of the other hitters, and you're always right there talking to them about, I think a couple times today you were talking to a couple of the hitters saying, put it here, go this way. Talk about watching your teammates develop. Your other hitters that came up. That's got to be kind of neat, knowing that you've got other weapons around you.
Yes.
Probably opens it up even more for you.
No, it's amazing that we have great hitters on both middle, right side, and my opposite, of course, Alina. Like we're all like amazing hitters, and that just helps so much because like you never know who it's gonna go to. Like we're all like ready, and we want to put it down.
If you had to describe one play that would happen that would win one certain game for you, what would it be? What would the perfect situation be?
For like any game.
Any
like,
game.
Just for like what
like let's say you're in a situation, it's a tie ball game. What do you want to happen on your end right there? You want a certain set? How do you want that game to finish?
I would want maybe like a 1 or a 3 ball, and me just hit it like angle down. Yeah.
And tell our audience what a 1 and a 3 the difference is.
Well, 1 is where you go up to the middle and you just like it's a quick one like set towards the middle, and you just put it down because there's a block right there, so you just have to hit the angles of it. And then a 3 is like you're coming from outside and you're going in towards it's between the 1 and the 4, and you just go straight down, and it's like a quick set, and you just go through the open block, the gap in the block, yeah.
Do you find that people try to do all sorts of blocks on you, maybe a V block, or are they all just coming in tight?
I think they have like strategies, I guess, of blocking, but I think they just go up and like try and like close on the block.
And they close their eyes a lot too. I see. We've got photos of a lot of eyes closed when you're on the opposite side. I won't have my eyes closed. I'll have them duct taped open. So Andrew and I are coming to the net, right? What kind of sets should we get?
If y'all are coming to the net?
Yeah.
And then
what would be the perfect set for me? Be careful.
How would you set Henry?
How would you set Henry?
What position would you put?
I'm an outside hitter.
Okay. What is Henry?
No.
Andrew.
He's another outside hitter. We're your 2 outsides on your left and your right. You don't have a good team this year, so we're your 2 outside hitters. How are we being set?
Okay, I would set you. Okay, would you want a fast ball?
It's up to you.
Okay, I would set you.
I'm lightning quick, but I would.
Okay, then I would set you a shoot ball. It's like a faster 4.
Right along the top of the net. Perfect.
And then to set
so I can't jump
Andrew,
any higher.
I would set a quick back set.
A quick back set. And just pray that he's back there. You got that? So remember, when we're doing sand volleyball or something, she's going to give you a quick set.
Duly noted.
All right. Lexi, congratulations. What's the goal the rest of the season? What does the rest of your season and your school year look like?
Well, we have to focus on district, just through that, and then playoffs, of course, and hopefully make it far.
That'd be great. And by the way, Lexi was our all area 6A player of the year, athlete of the year last year. Congratulations on that. That's an awesome and well-deserved award for you.
Thank you.
Keep doing the right things, like you said. continue to be loud, screaming for the ball, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Yep, congrats on the court success and all the recruiting interest off. And you're welcome back to join us anytime you want.
All of
Thank
you,
you so
all of
much.
you are.
Yeah, all 5 of you.
Awesome. Yes.
There we go. All right, thanks. Back to you, Brian.
Welcome back, y'all. More exciting football talk on tap, and what I want to start with is the Hidalgo Pirates. They had a big game this week, welcoming Port Isabel into town. You know, one of the traditional powers at the 4A level here, and this one was a special game for them because Hidalgo coach Monty Stumball, before coming to coach the Pirates, spent 16 years coaching the Tarpons in Port Isabel. Won over 100 games there, and this is the 3rd time he and the Pirates have gone up against his former squad, and they pulled out the win this time. You know, Angel Lopez threw 2 touchdowns through the air. Zach Carrera punched one in on the ground, and they ended up beating the Tarpons 21-13 for the first win over that program since Stumball made the transition over. Raul and I actually went out to Hidalgo earlier this week and caught up with Coach Stumball, talking to him about the state of his program now, what he expects from his team, and his memories of coaching at Port Isabel. Check it out.
Well, right now, it's going pretty good. We're 1-1. We feel like we should be 2-0, but we're not. So, the kids have been really working hard, and they're playing so much better this year than last year. So, we feel we're heading in the right direction. We're trying to get everything ready by the time we get to district. But, our kids are playing hard. They're getting after it. We're a lot more physical. We're a whole lot better offensively. Our line's a lot better. So, things are going in the right direction, and they had a really good second half against Lyford to come back from behind to win. So, something to build on. So right now, it's going good. It could always be better. But, we like where we're at right now and what our kids are doing. And now we're just going to try to, take care of the little things and keep adding little wrinkles here and there. But, we got to take care of the little things before it becomes a big thing. But, no, I'm real pleased with where we're at right now. No. The first year we played, it was tough for me to come out of this office. I'll be honest. But, no, it's game 3 for us. And they're great tradition. They're a very good football team, and it's a chance for our kids to step out and play against a very good football team and compete with them and see where we're at, And we feel like we have a good team also. So, no, it's game 3. I mean, and that's all it is. And it's nothing more than that, and I'm sure it's the same for them. It's just game 3. Everybody's trying to get themselves ready to go to district. Try to win district, get in the playoffs. But we're playing a really good football team, and it's going to be a great challenge for us. And I think we're up for the challenge.
Shout out to Hidalgo and Coach Stumball for picking up that win and for welcoming you guys and allowing you guys to get to know the coach and the program and the insides and outs of everything going on with Pirate football.
Yeah, that was a big win for the Pirates. With that one, they've matched their win total from the previous 2 years combined, and it's the first time they've moved over 500 in the Stumball era. So congrats to everyone out there in Hidalgo.
Big win for the Pirates. Now to take it elsewhere, week 3 across the valley. Andrew, why don't you break on Thursday? You were able to catch San Benito, the number 3 ranked team, the RGVSports.com poll. I could take on the PSJ High Bears.
Yeah, this one had the makings of a real interesting contest, and it played out that way in the first half. San Benito held a slim 12-10 lead heading into halftime, although the Bears could have very easily taken advantage and had a lead of their own. This one was really all about allowing the big plays defensively for PSJA and just some missed opportunities offensively. Settled for 2 field goals inside the 10-yard line that could have very well been touchdowns. They had a key play at the very end of the first half where they drove the length of the field, actually completed a touchdown pass to Ethan Castillo, and had it called back for an illegal receiver downfield away from the play. Ultimately, they ended up missing a long field goal, so that goes from 7-3 to 0 points on that series.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had 3 big turnovers too: an interception on San Benito's half of the field, a muffed punt inside their own 30, and then a botched snap around midfield that the Greyhounds recovered. And then defensively, they gave up a long touchdown pass in the first play from scrimmage to the Greyhounds, and then the start of the second half, the very first 2 plays were both 54-yard scrambles by San Benito quarterback Smiley Silva, the first one for a touchdown. Kind of disappointing that they gave up more than half the rushing yards on the day on those 2 first plays of the second half. You really feel like it would have been a much different contest had they just been able to rein in those 2 or 3 big plays defensively.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback defensively, got a few sacks, and their offensive line looked much improved from that Week 1 performance against Flower Bluff. You can definitely see they're attempting more passes now. Plays are given a little bit longer to develop, and they're really testing out the deep ball a lot more than they were at the beginning of the season. So, not the result you would have wanted if you're a Bears fan, but I think things are ultimately heading in the right direction there, and we'll see what they can do when district play starts up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how the Bears come back off of that bye week in Week 5 once they begin District 36A action. And speaking of District 36A, on Thursday night, I caught the Waters Lincoln Huskies visiting the Edinburgh High Bobcats, and the Edinburgh High Bobcats coming through with a 20-14 win over Waters Lincoln.
Yeah, that's great. Coach Lee has really preparing that team to do everything that they can to make sure they secure at least that 4th spot in the playoff run for 31-6A, and it looks like they're gonna be able to do that with Donna North's not doing too well. They're 0-2. Edinburgh North's also 0-2, and John Economides also lost. So what's special about Edinburgh is they got their running back, I think, getting ready for district, and Shannon Woodard, and he's coming out big. 3 touchdowns in their last win, 2 touchdowns last night.
Yep.
More than 150 yards running. That's got to be a spectacular thing to watch. And I would have loved to be there.
Yeah, he looked good. It got stronger as the game went on. And then another aspect of that Edinburgh High offense, they're dealing with a new quarterback situation, and they're rolling with a sophomore quarterback, Rolando Abrigo, who connected with receiver Adrian Garza for the Bobcats' first points of the night. And Edinburgh High, the Cardiac Cats, they're getting shut out 7-0 at the half, able to rip off 20 points there in the second half. Really big comeback for Edinburgh High. Good to see them get back and put together back-to-back wins after beating Brownsville Rivera late last week, and then this week again, following that up with a big win over the Huskies. And one of the biggest playmakers of that game happened to be on the defensive side for the Edinburgh Bobcats. It was linebacker Jaime Zamora, came through with 2 interceptions of La Jolla Waters Lincoln quarterback Josh Briones. The first one was a little over his head. He reached with one hand, tipped it to himself a couple of times, and brought it in before he was tackled. And the second one, it was a bit of it appeared the ball was going to be going over Zamora's head. He leaps with both hands, able to snag it, bring it down, return it for 50 yards right before the first half buzzer. But really good defensive performance from the Bobcats, and able to keep Waters Lincoln and contain quarterback Josh Briones, who really looked really good as a runner and a passer on Thursday night. But
if he can keep doing that, that defensive team's going to be a very, very big threat with that athleticism and zeroing in on those tips, and the concentration on that is just precise.
Absolutely. And then another key player on that Edinburgh High defense, Emmanuel Duran. He's a defensive tackle, plays right up front, right over the center, right over those guards on that defensive line, and he's also their kicker. And he has a really good leg, able to come through with 2 extra points that would have been good from 30 to 40 yards out. And he was able to get pressure on Briones there in the second half when the Edinburgh High defense needed to create some turnovers, needed to get that ball back to their offense, and they definitely did. So shout out to the Edinburgh High Bobcats coming through with a 20-14 win to improve their record to 2-1 on the year. And earlier I touched on Rio Grande City and quarterback Mario Garza's performance. 6 touchdowns, 16 for 19, 272 in a 69-19 win over Brownsville Lopez. But I forgot to mention wide receiver Aaron Marroquin, who had 3 touchdown catches on Friday night, and that brings his total up to 7 touchdown receptions in just 3 games. So
That guy's playing phenomenal, right?
yeah, he's a basketball player. Coach Mireles told me he was excited to have this guy out there on the football field, and just a really athletic player, about 6 foot to 6'1", and he can go get it. And 7 touchdowns on the year. There's no doubt about it who quarterback Mario Garza's go-to guy is. It's Aaron Marroquin, and they have built chemistry just through 3 games this year, and going to be interesting to see what they do in week 4. Got Mario Garza and Aaron Marroquin for Rio Grande City, and over for Mission Veterans, we got quarterback Ricky Reina and receiver AJ Gonzalez. 2 of the best quarterback and receiver combinations here in the Rio Grande Valley. I am fired up for that one. Can't wait to see how that one plays out. And to take it to some District 16 5AD2 to the Sharyland High Rattlers, who took on the La Jolla High Coyotes in non-district action. Last year, La Jolla High and running back Eddie Villarreal ran all over the Sharyland High Rattlers, coming away with a 31-7 win. This year, though, that Sharyland High defense, they turned it on. They were able to contain Eddie Villarreal, and he's a tough player to stop. You can only hope to slow him down, but they did that, able to shut out the Coyotes for a 23-0 win for the Sharyland High Rattlers. And this is a big win for the Rattlers after getting beat handily last week, 51-10 by McAllen Memorial, to bounce back against a tough, a gritty La Jolla High team that's no slouch. Every time out, those Coyotes, they're going to bring it, they're going to hit you in the mouth, and especially Eddie Villarreal. He's going to run it right down your throat, but the Sharyland High Rattlers able to adjust, able to work things out, and come through with a big 23-0 win. And Sharyland High's first points of the game came from an offensive lineman. Anytime an offensive lineman gets in the end zone, you got to give them love. A big man touchdown doesn't happen too often. So shout out to Gustavo Borquez, who, as a Sharyland High slot back, was crossing into the goal line. A fumble is forced by the La Jolla defense. That ball falls into the end zone. There's a scrum. There's a pile for it. People diving, bodies all over the floor for it. And who comes up with it? A Sharyland High offensive lineman who I wasn't there to see it, but I hope he gave a big man touchdown dance. Those are our favorite here at the RGV Sports Show. So shout out to the Sharyland High Rattlers for picking up that 23-0 win over La Jolla High. And guys, any other thoughts? Anything else you guys would like to touch on? Anything that you found interesting here in week 3?
Well, I thought it was interesting that the McAllen Row Warriors were able to bounce back pretty strong, and they had their first not come from behind win this past weekend. They topped Edinburgh North 36-14 in McAllen. This one was an interesting one for the Warriors. So they were looking for answers at wide receiver after that injury to David Savage last week in our game of the week. But it looks like they kind of found it in a 4-member backfield now that includes Alex Anzalduya, Lorenzo Lopez, Joey Partita, and Nick Meehan. All 4 of those guys had big games against the Cougars. Meehan found the end zone. And in the receiving game, Jonas Ortiz, the quarterback, really helped them transition seamlessly from week to week. And Gustavo Cruz, their tight end, really stepped up now as the team's primary receiver. He had a big touchdown catch and a lot of key receptions that helped them prolong drives. And shout out to linebackers Josiah Alonso and backup quarterback / defensive back James Gomez, who you see more often on the defensive side of the ball, but both those guys got into the action offensively with some time at slot receiver. So it's nice to see the Warriors really using a full team effort there on offense to get it done. And they'll have an interesting kickoff to district play when they welcome in a tough opponent in the McHigh Bulldogs, who will be looking to bounce back after a big 44-14 loss at home to Harlingen South on Thursday.
The 3-0 Nicky Rowe Warriors. Shout out to them. Shout out to Coach Flores. And before we leave, the Ed Couch Elsa Yellow Jackets, after starting the year off 0-2, able to upset the Los Fresnos Falcons on the road too, and Sean Alvarado runs for 157 yards in a 41-28 win for the Yellow Jackets. That ground game is something else. They're going to keep it coming at you with Sean Alvarado, Edward Cardoza, and Jake Cardenas. They just got three runners that can hurt you, and they can go inside, they can go outside, and they can break the long run. And the Ed Couch offense really looking good. Shout out to their defense, able to contain another ground game. Los Fresnos, their offense, they run the ball right at you. They're a run-heavy offense, and the Ed Couch also proved that their game is just a little bit better than Los Fresnos is at the point. And I picked Los Fresnos to win this game. Shout out to Ed Couch also for proving me wrong. The Yellow Jackets on the board, 1-2, heading into next week's matchup against Edinburgh North. Really interesting team in Ed Couch, a team that's going to make some noise there in District 16 5A D2. And they're in the win column, and they're hungry for more. Like we said all along, they're trying to restore glory over at Ed Couch Elsa, and this was one of the first steps in doing so. So congratulations to Coach Christian Novato and the Ed Couch Elsa Yellow Jackets on picking up a big win over the Los Fresnos Falcons.
Well, let's not forget La Feria and Mercedes. You know, had a big match on the gridiron that took it to the wire. La Feria ended up winning the contest 35-31, and they're undefeated. So I think our top 10 is going to shake up, and I think La Feria is probably going to shimmy in there real nice.
Yeah, La Feria early on looking like the team to beat in the 4A level. Returning 17 or 18 starters makes them dangerous for even 5 and 6A opponents. So got to watch out for them.
Yeah, I think the turning point, Mercedes quarterback Michael Cicero threw an interception. You know, maybe if that not happened in the red zone, could have gone the other way. Mercedes is doing well. They're 1-2, and it seems like if they can iron out those turnovers, they're going to be a real tough team to beat.
Yeah, turnovers bit the Tigers against Rowe in the game of the week last week too. Only a handful of scores separating them from 1-2 and 3-0. So it'll be interesting to see what Mercedes can do once they hit district play and tighten that up a little bit offensively.
Absolutely. And next up for Mercedes,
Edinburgh High.
The two helmets we got right here.
Right here.
Mercedes against Edinburgh High. Going to be an interesting matchup, the last non-district matchup for both those teams before they head into district play. And some really good matchups coming up here in week 4. We're excited for it. We're really hyped up for the outcome of all these week 3 games. We had number 1 go down. So obviously that means somebody else will claim that top spot, and it's looking like it's going to be the McAllen Memorial Mustangs, who are number 2, now claiming that top spot on the RGV Sports show.
And not only that, but we saw teams 4, 5, and 6 go down too. So bound to see shakeups at every level of the top 10 this week.
Going to be interesting, and you can catch the new top 10 coming to you on Wednesday on the next RGV Sports show. We will have the top 10, our player of the week, and we'll be previewing all week 4 games, including the game of the week, Rio Grande City at Mission Veterans at Tom Landry Stadium there in District 16 5A D1. I'm already fired up for it. Can we fast forward to Friday night? No, we can't, but I'll be there. So with that said, this has been the RGV Sports Show Week 3 recap. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.